Hello there, fellow adventurers. This is Sorvesteon coming to you from Riders of Icarus, and in this video I'm bringing you a guide on how to do the raid Attaius Peak. Now, Attaius himself is huge, strong, and just pretty badass, and he has some very devastating skills. So you're going to need some good teamwork and coordination in order to bring this guy down. Now, speaking of devastating skills, you can see Attaius casting Storm Spheres, which is one of his favorites. And what this does is it summons a whole bunch of blue balls. Their proper name is Great Storm Sphere, and they shoot blue energy at you. Now, individually, they're not really that dangerous, but you can see he summons quite a bit of them. And if they focus you, well, you're going to see your HP bar going down pretty darn fast. Now, thankfully, they don't move, so it's possible to get out of their range. But it really depends on how you're doing the raid. There's several different ways, which I'll talk about later. But I think it's a good idea to at least take some of these down. They're not too hard, especially if you focus them down. You can get them down relatively quickly, and that just makes things easier on the healers. And speaking of your healers, in this raid you're gonna have to stay, well, at least with this method that you're seeing us doing here, you're gonna have to stay grouped up on your healers so that you're getting healing all the time. So I think right about now is about as good a time as any to talk about some of the different ways in which you can take Attaius down. In this video, we're focusing specifically just on his head, which is Attaius' main body. We call it focusing on his head because, well, his head is one of the easiest areas to click on to target his main body, and because when you shoot Attaius' main body, for some reason all of your shots go straight to his head. Now, Attaius has a thunder arm and a lightning arm, and he has a hearthstone in the center of his chest. And all of these things have their own HP bars. Now, if you take them out, you will weaken Attaius, and you will prevent him from knocking you back every 10 seconds, and I think from using certain skills. So another method is actually to go after these parts first, and then go after Attaius' main body afterwards. Which will be easier since, he can't do as many nasty things to you. Now, we are doing this with a full raid group. You don't have to do it with a full raid group. You can do it with a 6-man party, and I think that is probably the best way to do it, because in a 6-man party, you get the full drop rate buff, which means you're going to get way better loot out of this. Now, that way has its own strategies, which I'm not going to cover in this video. And here comes another one of Attaius' devastating skills, Astronomical Rage. It has a 3-second activation, and when you see it, you need to get away, because it will insta-kill you if you are within range. Now, if you get back to the islands, you'll probably be safe. Now, you can see it, I flew back in ahead of my group. They got knocked back, and I just kind of flew in ahead of everyone else, and this is a great example of what not to do in the raid. You can see that I just got focused by those great storm orbs, and I died pretty quickly, and I'm wearing full +10 gear, and I'm a tank, so, you can just imagine what that would do to, like, a priest, or an assassin, or a wizard. This is also a good reason why you should bring some Dire Wound Cure Scrolls in with you, because especially if it's your first time or you're not really familiar with this raid, you're gonna die, and having that death penalty on you is just gonna make this so much harder. So definitely bring some Dire Wound Cure Scrolls into the raid with you, as well as some pots. Health potions specifically will be very, very useful, especially if you get separated from your healers. Now, he summoned some great Storm Spheres again, and we're just taking the closer ones out. With this method, we're not taking all of them out, because that would take away from a lot of the DPS that we're putting onto Attaius himself. We're only taking the ones that are kind of closest to us and are easy to reach. And then we're just staying on top of our healers and healing through the damage from the other ones, so that we can keep as much DPS on Attaius as possible. So a lot of teams choose to do the head method, which is just to focus on Attaius himself, and that's mostly because it's just faster than the other methods. But it also has one other big advantage, and that is that everyone is targeting Attaius. Now, because everyone's targeting Attaius, everyone can see when he activates a skill, and more importantly, what skill he's activating. So everyone knows what they should be doing, whether they should need to get away or whether they need to start focusing on orbs. And you can see here, because I have Attaius targeted, I can see he's activating Astronomical Rage, which lets me know that I need to get out of there quick. Now, if your team is doing one of the other methods where you're focusing on the arms and the Hearthstone first, you can't see what skill he's activating because you don't have Attaius targeted. Which means that, one person in the group needs to have Attaius himself targeted so that they can see what skills he's activating and when he's activating them, and they can let the rest of the party know. So those other methods actually require more coordination than this method. So this method overall is faster and it's easier. Now, probably the most annoying thing about Attaius is not his skills, but just his normal attacks. Like there, when he swings his arms. Every time you get hit by that, you get knocked back and you get knocked down. And he does it pretty much every 10 seconds when he's not activating one of his skills. And that is really annoying because as it pushes you back, it does separate you from the rest of your party. You are supposed to stack and, be clumped together so that you're getting the heals from your priests. And at the same time, every time you get knocked back and pushed down, it cancels whatever skill you were activating. So you basically have this 10-second window in order to get whatever skill you want to off. Which actually isn't all that long because as you get pushed back, you might get pushed back out of range. So every time you get hit, you have to fly up and forward into position to start using your skills again. So now Attaius is activating probably the most difficult skill to deal with in this entire raid, which is Red Aerial Spheres, which summons Storm Spheres, which is very similar to his skill Storm Spheres, which summon Great Storm Spheres. I know, that's not confusing at all. So basically what he does when he casts this skill is he summons these purple orbs. And these are different from the blue orbs. These purple orbs fly around and they, target people and they shoot purple energy at them. Now, they're different from the blue ones, which remain stationary. The purple ones will chase after you and you can't escape them. Now, see, he's activating Astronomical Rage, so not only are you having to deal with these purple spheres that are moving around and trying to kill you, but you have to deal with his other skills at the same time. And he really likes to cast the skill Storm Spheres and then the skill Red Aerial Spheres, one right after the other. So you basically are dealing with both the blue orbs and the purple orbs at the same time. Now, you might have noticed that during this whole sequence, I was focusing on the blue spheres instead of the purple ones. And that was my mistake. I didn't recognize that I needed to focus on the purple orbs instead of the blue orbs. So that is just something to be aware of when you're doing this raid. At the beginning of the raid, he's not going to activate Red Aerial Spheres. He's just going to summon the blue ones, the Great Storm Spheres, which stay stationary. It's later on, after he gets down past 50%, that he's going to start summoning the purple ones through the skill Red Aerial Spheres that are going to chase you, and those need to be taken down. You cannot leave any of them up. However, the nice thing about them is that you can pull back because they do move and they will follow you. And so you don't have to be right up in front of Attaius, getting knocked down and knocked back all the time when you're dealing with them. And that's probably what I recommend is, when he summons the purple orbs, don't go right up next to Attaius. So now that all the purple orbs have been dealt with, you can see we're just focusing on DPSing down Attaius. And you can see that I'm doing a much better job of staying with my team, staying close to the healers, staying in that nice little clumped up group so I can get the heals and the buffs, which are going to help me do more damage and help me survive against the remaining blue orbs that are still up and, still targeting the team. And now Attaius is about to do something very tricky and nasty. He's going to activate all 3 of his abilities, one right after the other. See, he's activating Storm Spheres, so that's summoning the blue orbs. And right after he does that, he's going to start activating red Aerial Spheres, which he's doing now, which is going to summon the purple orbs. So now we have both to deal with. Now, at this point, I still hadn't recognized that I needed to shoot the purple orbs, so I've de-targeted Attaius, and I'm targeting the Great Storm orbs, but now he's casting Astronomical Rage, and I didn't see it quick enough, and look at that. Just another example of why you need to bring in Dire Wound Scrolls to heal, any death penalties you get, because it's very likely, especially, when you're first doing this, that you are going to die a lot. Now, this time I actually got smart. I recognized that I needed to start taking out the purple Storm Spheres, and, that's what I'm starting to do here, and that's what my team's doing, and I'm not going near Attaius. See, look how far away I am. And that way we aren't really getting the brunt of his, kind of arm attacks. So I can say I learned a lot about this raid just by going back and looking at the footage from this run, seeing things that I didn't see before, recognizing what was going on in, a more calm environment when I'm not freaking out, trying to, get back into position to fire or to dodge, incoming blue energy or running away from astronomical rage and all sorts of stuff, or trying to stack on my healer. And that's why I decided to make this guide, It's so much easier to learn what you need to do when you're not trying to do 10 other things and also figure out what's going on at the same time. So the next time I run the Attaius raid, I really feel like now I have, a way better understanding of what I need to do and what I need to watch out for and how I need to work with my team. And that, has just given me so much more confidence now, in being able to run this raid, than I had before, where, the first couple times I went into this raid, I was really kind of freaking out. I had no idea what I was supposed to do, and it was, it was kind of frustrating. So we've pretty much got Attaius down. He's not really going to do anything more special. He will do one more Astronomical Rage, but that's not really going to hinder our progress, as at this point most people have become, pretty aware of what they need to do and pretty proficient at it. See, he's activating it now, and everyone just gets out of there, and look, it didn't kill a single person, and now we're just gonna fly back in. He doesn't have very much health. This whole thing from start to finish took us 14 minutes with a 10-man group. Now, if you're doing a 6-man group, it might take you a little bit longer, but the Attaius raid itself isn't too long, and it's not supposed to be. So now I just want to let you see what kind of loot we got from doing this raid with a 10-man group. Like I mentioned before, doing it with a 6-man group is much better, because in a 6-man group you get that buff, that increases your drop rate significantly. So you're going to get a lot more stuff from doing the Attaius Peak Raid in a 6-man group than you will by doing it in a 10-man group. As you can see here, we're not really getting a whole lot of stuff. So anyways, this has been Sorvesteon in Riders of Icarus, bringing you my guide on how to do the Attaius Peak Raid. Don't forget to click like and subscribe to my channel for more videos about Riders of Icarus. Until next time, adventurers, take care and have fun.